Hello, everyone. I'm glad you've survived these 2 days of telematics and hope you enjoyed the presentations. Yes, yeah, people are still coming and it's good. Yeah, we have a good audience here. Yeah, hope you enjoyed the training sessions of the first day and the keynote presentations of the second day. And today we have some presentations dedicated to our products and panel discussions by our partners. And we'll start with something that was booming several months ago. We start with a presentation about our new fleet management solution. It's still new and it's still booming. The presentation will be delivered by Mariya Starikova, a business analyst on the project. So let's welcome her on stage with your applause. Let's make it like we are 100, okay?
Okay, thank you, Kirill. So my name is Mariya, and I work as a product manager in a department of creating our niche solutions. But I think we are more famous for creating such products as logistics, Nimbus, Hectera, our very new solution, and of course Fleetrun. And today my presentation is going to be dedicated to our new fleet management solution, which is Fleetrun. And first of all, I would like to share with you our idea of why we created it. So Fleetrun is one more argument in our desire to say that Wialon is a full and sophisticated fleet management system. And when we created it, we wanted to get all the functionality that is already in Wialon in regards to fleet maintenance, make it better, and add more functions to it. And you may say that, okay, Fleetrun is far from telematics. It's very far from what we are talking here about, and it's not directly connected to our topic, but still this topic and this application is something that can save money and help you operate your costs in the fleets. So let's see what plan we have for today. I'm going to briefly introduce you Fleetrun opportunities, say who our target audience, and share with you the core concepts of the application, with which it will be easier for you to start working with the application. And a very interesting part is going to be comparison of current maintenance module in Wialon and Fleetrun, and I'll try to inform you and make sure that Fleetrun is a better one for effective maintenance management. And also, I'll try to briefly introduce you the functionality and some killer features, small ones that we have in this application. But I'll start with the question to the audience. Has anybody already tried Fleetrun? Okay, we are not alone then. It's very nice. So in case there will be questions, let us know at the end. Okay, so what are Fleetrun opportunities saying generally? First of all, its ability to monitor maintenance intervals approaching and notifications of service necessity, but you can also set up notifications the way that you are notified upon each change of status of service. So it's pretty much customizable. Secondly, it's possible to register your services also taking into account labor and parts cost, not only total cost. This way, you're able to identify how much you spent on parts and how much you spent on labor. And finally, we have an ability for extensive reports, meaning that it's possible to run it for the whole fleet, particular vehicles, and having all kinds of grouping for it. Okay, now moving to the target audience. When we were starting to create Fleetrun, and now when we get lots of requests from our partners and from our end users, and we think of the ways how our application is going to evolve, we think of the following target audience for which our application can be most efficient, bring most value. And if you look at the slide, you see that we have 3 points that we pay attention to when we talk to our customers, bringing to them our idea. And first, this is small fleets and medium-sized fleets, which have from 50 to 70 vehicles in them, and that have not previously controlled maintenance at all, or they did it, but did it very ineffectively in notebooks and manually putting down in Excel sheets. Further on, when we think about particular people or roles that can be interested in this solution, we figure out the following ones for us. This, in first line, these are you, our partners, integrators who are sitting at this audience today, because we think that for you, Fleetrun is an opportunity to approach fleets, your end users and customers, with offering a new type of service, maintenance control. Secondly, these are fleet managers, because with Fleetrun, they are able to omit all the handwritten notebooks and Excel sheets that have a lot of pages, and they do not need to put down anything manually in any type of cards. It's all available in the web interface, and they can easily manage it. And first, last but not the least, these are fleet owners, because we think that with our data that can be kind of analytics and also our reporting, Fleetrun is a tool to make a good business solution and manage fleets better. And I would like to share with you the core concepts of the application. And I think that if you know what we put in these ideas and these concepts, it will be easier for you to translate these to your end users and start using application. So what is fleet in Fleetrun? We all know what is fleet in real life, but in Fleetrun, when we think about fleet, we say that this is a container for all the fleet vehicles, for all the assigned units, assigned intervals, and registered services. So basically, all information that is concerned maintenance, operational costs is stored in one place, and it is fleet. Secondly, what is interval in Fleetrun? So interval is a type of service towards fleet maintenance. And if I'm asked to give you an example, this will be the following. So let's say we have an oil change interval, and it can be registered for several units. So let's say all the trucks that you have in your fleet, and it should be processed at each 5,000 kilometers. So this is the type of maintenance, type of service, and this is interval. There is a concept that is very closely connected to an interval, and this is a service. And when we think about service, we think that, okay, this is a one-time event of unit maintenance, repairs, or even renewal of an insurance. And if I'm, again, asked to give an example, this will be that if you remember the ones that I just gave at the previous slide, for that interval of oil change, there will be created separate intervals for each of the units, for each of the trucks that were created in this interval. So we have one interval, can assign it to different units, and then in the end have all different services that are later processed also individually. And we get really a lot of questions since we released application asking, okay, but what is the difference between maintenance module in Wialon and Fleetrun? A lot of our customers ask this and say, what is the conceptual difference between them? And I would like to give you an answer to this. So basically, in Wialon, you're limited to assign only one unit to one interval, even though there can be some particular type of units that can be valid for one interval. In Fleetrun, we have given you an ability to assign as many units, as many particular types of units to the interval as you want, if this is a valid case for you, of course. The next point is that in Wialon, it's only possible to manually create services, and they're created already in the closed status, so there is no ability to see in what status the service is. In Fleetrun, first of all, we have given an ability to automatically create services which are due, so they appear in the system when the time approaches, and it's already there. It notifies you, and you have nothing to do with it. So it's a bit stressful because you need to close it or to reject it. So it's there, and it's not just a notification. It requires some action. The next, in Wialon, it's possible to register a service, enter in service cost, total cost of service. If you look at Fleetrun, we see that it's besides entering total cost, it's also possible to enter labor cost and parts cost. Then, when you will run reports, you will be able to understand how much you spent individually on parts and how much was spent individually on cost. So this is kind of help in future analysis. The next thing is that in Wialon, it's possible to run reports, and they're quite extensive, so you can get a lot of information from them on the maintenance and services. In addition to reports, in Fleetrun, we have given an ability for you to have your fleet dashboards and unit dashboards, which means that it is visually more representable, and just by entering your dashboard, so you don't need to make a lot of clicks and the reports, just enter the first page of the application and you immediately see how many, for instance, overdue services you have. It means that without a lot of effort, you understand where to put your team's effort in by just solving this problem of a number of overdue services. Okay, it was a different slide, but I'll start with, I talked about this slide, and now I'm going to talk about this slide. So when you register a service in Wialon, you only enter some information like name, cost, interval, and etc. In Wialon, in Fleetrun, we have also given you an ability to attach files. And this is pretty important because then when the service is closed, it's gone, and some time has already passed, you can return to your service anytime and see what actually happened at the workshop of that day and see a photo of or some document that is already attached to the file. So it's pretty a great tool when you have to make some analysis after a long time has passed. And I have already talked about this slide, so you can make a photo now if you need, because I see that some of you are making this. And the last point here, and we have really recently added it, is that in Wialon it's possible to control maintenance for units. But a lot of our partners, since the release of application, asked us to also add an ability to register services for drivers and trailers. And we have made it because we understand, all of you, that what in regards to fleet operational costs, it's not only about vehicles, it's also about drivers and trailers. That is why now all the actions that you were previously able to do for units, you can do them as well for drivers and trailers. And let me briefly introduce you the functionality of the application, paying special attention to the things that are really nice additions to the application. So first is dashboard, because I think that this feature is one of what our application stands out. And this is how it looks like. And if we go down to particular detailed information on dashboard, you're able to see some characteristics of your fleet at certain points in time. And to be more precise, you can see what services you have, like due, and you see the number, and you can manage the efforts of your team. So you can plan your activities in the fleet. If you see that you have overdue services, it's also a signal for you, and like an alarm, it's red, that you need to solve the situation very quickly, because in case you do not do anything with the overdue services, you may face the problem of idling of your fleet, and you will waste money or pay money in the future, a lot of them, just because you did not do maintenance on time, and in progress services as well. If we look at the units widget, we see that it's possible to see how many active units we have and actives that do not do have any services at all at the moment. And basically it means that you can plan activities or rides for them. And we have units that are in service also. There is a very nice value here, which is a cost per 1 kilometer. It can be also cost per 1 mile, meaning that it is a value that helps you understand how much you spend on each particular, in this case, this is going to be fleet, but this information in Fleetrun is also available for each particular vehicle. And last but not the least are our charts. So you're able to see how much was spent in charts, and what was the mileage values and engine hours values. So by days and by months, just two different visual representations for your convenience. If we go to intervals, we see that in Fleetrun, we managed to add a new mechanism that allows us to enter advance notice value, which, upon approaching of which, system, first of all, creates an automatic service. That's what I have already talked about. Then the system sends you a notification, the one that you see on the screen. So the service is already created there, and it requires some actions to do with it. So you cannot simply ignore it. Services. So in services, what I would like to pay attention to is ability to register them in different types and control their going from one status to another. And what is more, we have given you ability to register a service which was 1 month ago or 1 day ago, without necessity to manually enter the mileage and engine hours of the service. So you can simply use our functionality, and just by clicking on initial value or final value buttons, you will immediately get the mileage and engine hours value for the day that the service actually took place. In Fleetrun, we have added very nice functionality of unit types, and we have not created it from our mind or from our ideas. We took what you enter in Wialon hosting as a basis, and we now have this library of unit types. So these are real ones that you use in Wialon, and in case it fails to have something that you need, some type is not here, let me know, we'll add it. And it's not just about type. Later on, you can use it for different nice things and operations in the application. For example, you can add to an interval units of a particular type. You can filter all the data as well by a particular type, and later on, for example, if you truly assigned to your vehicles types, in reports, it's possible to compare how much you spent on trucks in your fleets and how much you spent on buses in your fleets. And the last addition to our application, you might not have noticed it because it was just added yesterday. And as I said, there is an ability to register intervals, services, get reports, notifications for your drivers and trailers as well. And I've heard a lot of feedback from our partners that in Wialon there is no such an ability, and you have to make different workarounds, like assigning drivers and trailers intervals to the vehicle. Now we've given you ability to make it all individually, and I think it will work for you now. We have also made possible to run extensional reports for different kinds of services by the whole fleet or for particular intervals and units. And we also have a nice grouping that allows you to immediately compare data in reports. If you're a fleet owner or your customers are fleet owner actually, and you don't have time to and don't want to enter Fleetrun, you just need some information about what is going on, you're able to set up notifications, reports, by email, and upon your settings, every day or every week, you will get reports saying how many due services you have, how many were closed. This way, it's very easy to manage your fleet and make some decision even without entering the application. So you will have everything at your email. And in regards to notifications that we have, these are online notifications. It's pretty easy to set them up in user settings for any status of service, and they are stored in the application 2 weeks. So basically, it's not just appears and goes away. If you do not enter the application within 2 weeks, you will have this information at your disposal anyway. And the next part is notification to external server. This may be very useful in case you have some system that you would like to send notification to and receive them, basically. So you can use our external server notifications in Fleetrun. We also have notification to a messenger as Telegram, and it's pretty easy to set them up. It will take you like 3 or 5 minutes, and everything, the setup is described in our documentation. And I think that your favorite one type of notifications that you ask for is email. So it's how you can set it up and get any type of text with tags that we provide you with, or your personal text, and be in charge and aware of what is going on in the fleet without entering the application. And that's not it. Not all that I wanted to say about functionality. We also have the line items library, which means that one time only you have to enter all the labor and parts items that you have in your fleet, and then it will be easily caught up in intervals and services, and you don't need to remember them or enter them from the scratch every time. So it will be stored in library, and it will be immediately fetched up when you will need it. We also have export to CSV, and what is actually very nice is that in Fleetrun it's possible to export to this format units as well, which is not possible in hosting. So in case you need this ability, you can have it in Fleetrun. Also, when we were creating the application, we were thinking a lot about the fact that there are users that already use Fleetrun, maintenance in Wialon, and we were thinking how we can help them quicker go to our platform and create services there. So we added a tool as a migration of data, and now when you or your users, customers have any intervals or services created on Wialon side, it's possible to migrate them to Fleetrun with only a few clicks. It's not done automatically, but you need just a couple of steps to do it. And later on, you can proceed with creating new intervals on the basis of what you have migrated, or just work with what you have already there. And probably one of the most frequently asked things, and what we can be really proud of, is that we want your data of how many services and what are they where stored as much as possible. And we offer you data storage period of 5 years, and we think that it's a good tool to compare how much you spend at a certain period of time, so you don't need to export this data and archive them some way. It will be all there, and you can use it anytime and return to this data when there is a necessity. And I would like to say that each day when we come to work, we talk to our customers a lot, all of my team, and we want to make our application better. We write to forum, we read your requests, and it's really necessary for us to develop. We are open to any suggestions, any ideas. We want to make it for our end users. We want to make it really applicable to the needs of market. So let's develop Fleetrun together, and I hope that it will be a really good solution in the end, in a couple of months or years. And it will absolutely fit all the needs of your clients. And thanks for your attention.
Thank you, Mariya.